from PRX.
Hey, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people saying, hey, it's for horses, Scoots. Welcome to Sleep With Me. This is a special holiday tale of the tape. It's one of my favorite movies I remember watching as a child, and has multiple titles, including Laurel and Hardy, March of the Wooden Soldiers, and Babes in Toyland. I think it's just March, I don't know. It's multiple of those things. Welcome to Sleep With Me, by the way, a podcast that's here to keep you company, take your mind off something, put you to sleep. I did want to mention this is an older episode, almost 473. So like 827 episodes ago or so. Or are we at episode 1400? Oh, no, yes. So 999 podcasts on your bed. 999 episodes of Sleep With Me. If one of those snores because Scoots happens to bore, hopefully everybody falls asleep, and then there's 998 things sleeping in my general vicinity. Sorry, I don't normally sing, but okay, so this was just a heads up that this episode is older, so it does contain mentions of like where I don't spell out things like bird, P-O-O-P, and I go on and on about it, and people like authority figures speak to me. I do talk about people, like I do say the words for people that silently or non-silently wear big shoes with red noses. And I talk about barking puppy poos, but it's pretty tame. It's just that this was the earlier era of Sleep With Me where we like never talked, like we just had less feedback and less kids listening. But yeah, it's an extra episode. You know, last year we made the dedication to listeners to put out 3 episodes a week, like one listener favorite episode. So yeah, this is for you. You could, if those kind of things might wake you up, just skip it. There's plenty. That's why we put out so much stuff. But a lot of people enjoy these older episodes as well, and that's why I've been working so hard for you. So thank you so much for listening. If you're new, this is an episode of Style Episode Tale of the Tape where I try to remember like a movie that I've seen, just the way my like operating system is. But I try to remember, a movie I've seen many, many, many times, and then I try to remember it, and then I say, wait a second. So anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I really hope this show can help you out. Thanks so much, and if this podcast has changed your life and you listen on a regular basis, we really could use your help supporting the show directly or supporting our sponsors. Because that's how we're able to be here is when the people that benefit the most from the podcast help the podcast out too. Thanks so much. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix. And oh boy, am I excited because my Helix is on its way. I took the Helix quiz after I moved. Some of my sleeping preferences changed. So I took the quiz. I got matched with the perfect mattress for me and how I sleep, how I like to sleep cool and my needs. But what about you? The winter season is on us, and with it being cooler, are you going to spend more time indoors, relaxing with family, playing games, watching TV? Maybe even if you have a coldy cold, you're really going to want a comfortable mattress then. So it's the perfect time to invest in a new mattress. Helix has you covered. Because we all have different ways we like our mattresses to feel. We all have different sleep positions, different levels of firmness we like. So here's the thing. Take that Helix quiz, helixsleep.com/sleep, because Helix is going to match you with the perfect mattress based on your personal preferences and sleep needs. It makes buying a mattress so easy. And like I said, I like to sleep cooler. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. But I've developed a fondness for firmer mattresses now. So I was looking for something like that. And the Helix quiz worked it all out for me. I'm just waiting. Every day I hear the doorbell. I'm like, is that my new Helix? So you could be sleeping in a new Helix while I'm sleeping in a new Helix. We'll have one more thing in common. And no matter what this colder season brings, we know we'll both be comfortable. But the best part is Helix always has a deal for our listeners. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 27% off site-wide during their Cyber Monday sale. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for this exclusive Cyber Monday offer. 27% off site-wide. Make sure to enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey everybody, Scoots here. I just wanted to let you know that we're having a huge sale, 20% off 3 months for Sleep With Me Plus subscribers, new subscribers. You could sign up if you've been on the fence, but you say, man, I heard all those messages you said, Scoots, but I was really looking for a deal as well. Well, we're having a deal now till the end of the year. You can get ad-free episodes, ad-free story-only episodes. You can become a boar friend or a boar bestie and save 20% off 3 months at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Eric and the team at Astound or on the website. I am the Mystery Bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
All right, hey everybody, during this holiday season, you should gift yourself the gift of sleep phones with Sleep With Me branded sleep phones. We got a few different ones, and you could get those at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. That's the only place you could get the Sleep With Me versions of sleep phones. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones, and use the promo code Sleep With Me at checkout to get a discount. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones and use Sleep With Me at checkout. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to do is create a safe, welcome place where everybody's invited. You can come on in. And the safe place is a place where you can set aside whatever's been keeping you awake, whether it's thoughts, feelings, travel, internal or outside noises, the past, present, or future, something physical, any myriad of things. Bring them by, set them down wherever's comfortable, and come on in, because I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night here. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones. I'm wearing meanderwear, patent pending, finding out what a patent is, pending that, then pending probably some sort of onerous application process if it involves doing anything. Okay, how about this? I'm wearing meanderwear, imaginary patent pended, imaginarily patented, completed, approved. Which gives me, helps. It's like it has that compression stuff and copper and magnets, like the stuff on TV. Also, like from, the times I collide with particle colliders, it has still, dark matter. Like, that's all in my meanderwear. Which unfortunately that's probably it for me having any other kids, but that's probably it anyway. You say, are you sure there's not anything with half-lives in your meanderwear? I say, well, for sure. If I've been wearing them, yeah, I don't know there's long half-lives or whatever. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know what that means, but I'm still acting like I do. So that's meanderwear. I thought I was going to try to, Creaky Dulcet's meanderwear, meanders, over descriptions, as you just witnessed. And if you're new here, welcome, by the way. I think I said that a few times, and I mean it, because I've been there. And I know a lot of people are having trouble sleeping for a lot of different reasons, seasonal stuff or current stuff. And I hope I can help you. Now, this podcast doesn't work for everybody. What I do hear for a pretty big percentage of people listen is it takes a few times. Like initially, I might get on your nerves, and then you'll realize, like whatever's less than harmless, you say, okay, so, let's run through some creatures. And you say, well, that doesn't sound very harmless, Scoots. I said, well, we're going to work our way down. Like kind that live in the chair are close. You got birds. Those are pretty harmless. Most of them. Raptors, birds of prey, even those are mostly harmless. I mean, probably the most, ones are with the ones that go to the bathroom a lot, which I don't know if that's a seagull. I mean, we've gone about Canada geese, but they don't drop it. They just leave it. Let's not get sidetracked by bird poop. This early in the podcast or ever, let's just come up with a BPP, bird poop policy right now, which unfortunately my brain's not. I said, let's try not to talk. This is really like if you could hear my brain talking like 4 seconds ahead of when I talk, it's like, please, let's not talk about bird poop. Scoots, seriously, don't talk about bird poop anymore. I'm not kidding. Like I was just saying that, and now I'm saying it again. Don't say it again because it's not exactly sleepy, not exactly unsleepy. I mean, I gotta say the obvious thing. You wouldn't want to sleep in it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's not harmless, annoying. I'd say it's an irritant. So you'd say, okay, so birds are out. I'm less harmless than birds. Minor irritant. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. You're right. You got me, brain. I couldn't get you to stop saying bird poop, but you're willing to totally admit, you got me. Pardon my zinger. Is what was his name? Now I can't even remember Mr. Burns' assistant's name, but that's embarrassing. Forgetfulness, I don't know. I think I'm in the middle of describing why I'm harmless, but you'll learn. I mean, Milton? No, it's not his name. Smithers, Mr. Smithers. Actually, that's one of the few impressions I can do. I haven't done it in about 12 years. Mr. Smithers. Can't do any other Mr. Burns except for that. That's like, it's a weird skill I had. Mr. Smithers. Like I can do, how did this become a routine? I did not mean for this to happen. I'm sorry. But I can do, I think I can do one thing Eddie Vedder, but I can't remember what that is. That definitely wouldn't be for a sleep podcast. I can do Lord Commander Stannis Baratheon. That's only Stannis. So it's not like an impression, except it's like two word impressions. It's like one of those pound signs, hashtag 2-day career, 2 word, who else can I do? Miss Piggy, but that's too loud. I can do her saying, hi, yeah. And then I almost can do where she gets grouchy with Kermit, something frog. This is a character that doesn't really exist anymore. Yogi Bear, I could do, even that was the first impression I could do. And I realized, I said, well, that's strange. And this isn't really a useful skill because all I could say was, Heyhey Booboo. And I tried to, that's not the full impression. So don't roll your eyes, please. The few Yogi Bear fans that exist today. But I said, I mean, this is how you end up making a boring podcast and this part is not like a routine. This really happened. I mean, I guess this would be like fitted in the category. Why do you make a boring podcast? Well, there's people that do impressions and there's people that don't do impressions. And then there's people that are terrible at doing impressions and there's people that are awesome at it. And then there's people along the spectrum. And there's people that, use different ways of making their impressions better. And we've all seen that dude on YouTube. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. When I was a young boy, I learned that I could do, I could do Heyhey Booboo. So it's 4 words of Yogi Bear, who was popular when I was little, the cartoon character. But I couldn't do anything more. And that's not just like I can only whistle in. And believe me, I've gotten so many emails saying, here's how you whistle out. It's a genetic, I can't whistle out. I can only whistle in. And I could bet you, and this is how stubborn my subconscious is, it wouldn't be me. But if we came up with like $40,000 to hire some sort of imitation coach or whatever. Okay, this is the person that works with Saturday Night Live, Scoots. He's going to teach you a whole Yogi Bear routine. I'd be like, well, thanks. That's like, let's just burn that 40,000 because that's what totally. But even if and Stannis Baratheon, that would, even if so I don't know anyway if it would, who was the first person? Miss Piggy, that would be cool. So that one, but it would still be 40,000 not well spent. Because the teacher would totally have some sort of break with reality and say, I spent 6 months with this kid and he can only still say, hi-ya, and forget about it, frog. And then he still laughs and then we go through. So it's just a weird thing. And I've had to adapt to disappointments like that. Like the highs of realizing you can sound like a cartoon character and the lows. And the baffling low of saying, oh, wait, I can't say any other words. Like, no wonder I compartmentalize so many things in my life. You believe that? And I know for a sliver of the audience, this will make perfect sense. The people that do, like, so everybody else just pretend this is a very confusing metaphor. Okay, let's just give your brain a second to try to, ideally, that'll just cause your brain to shut down and you'll say, well, I just better go to sleep because this is not making any sense. Well, let me give you, now that it's too late, the TLDR version. I can do very few impressions. When I can do an impression, like it's only a few words. Like Antonio Banderas, I cannot really do that, but I do. Like I can, that's probably the most range I have, and that, like, I have to make sure it gets out of the studio within 2 minutes, otherwise it'll like all come off the rails. So I guess the TLDR is when I can do an impression, it's usually 4 words or less, and only the same 4 words. I guess I just like to burn those pathways into my brain and then keep them, like really thin pathways that are, I don't know. They tell me this brain's plastic, but, mine was the kind of plastic that got left in the sun or something. But anyway, you adapt, and then, like, look at the pleasure. Some people are already asleep. Some people are laughing with me. Some people are identifying and saying, hey, I can only jump rope with this certain brand jump rope, so I can relate to that. Or, I can only skate with these kind of, there's few, so there we go. We're creating... This is a global village, The misfit toys had to live somewhere. And not that you're all misfits. You're the best kind. You're yous. So I'm glad you're here. I guess that's my message. So if you're new here, holy moly. It's a podcast to put you to sleep. I guess I didn't say this earlier. It's a little bit different and strange and silly. And I'm a bit much. And I've seen that in the reviews sometimes. It's well-intentioned, okay? That's the main thing. And you're under no pressure. You're under no pressure or obligation, and obviously no expectation that this is gonna work for you, or you're gonna like me. Give it a few tries though, because I make this show to try to take your mind off of stuff and help you fall asleep. And I really do hope it works for you, because obviously with a brain like this, you know, I can't, like, it's not like when I'm lying there at night and I can't sleep and I'm starting to feel down. I don't have that, I can't say, well, at least I still have my wide range of 1980s and characters from GOT that aren't with us anymore, that I can just wow people at parties. It's like, well, I can only say, Lord Commander, and I can't do anything else. But you, like I said, you take lemons, you make lemonade. That's what you do. And in this case, it's like melatonin laced lemonade that's supposed to put you to sleep, because I got Did I mention I'm wearing meanderwear? It still makes me laugh inside. Like, I just picture me as a little boy saying, I'm wearing meanderwear. So I guess my main message always is I'm glad you're here. You're under no pressure to fall asleep. I'll be here for an hour, like 45 more minutes or so, giving it my all. Much like a car that won't start in the dead of winter, you know, that kind of, you know, like all, to take your mind off stuff. Because there is a percentage of listeners that don't sleep to this, but listen for companionship in the deep, dark night. And that's one of the reasons I give it my all to the very end. So as I always say, as I've said, you know, like, I really hope this helps you fall asleep or take your mind off of stuff. And I'm glad you're here. I appreciate your time, and let's keep the show moving. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and if you've been listening this is great news. If you're hearing this message, you probably heard all the other message about Sleep With Me Plus, but this one's different because we're having a sale right now until December 31st. You could save 20% off your first 3 months and just use that same link, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Or if you want to give or get the gift of Sleep With Me Plus, someone in your life says, what's a perfect gift for you? Well, I'll really miss Sleep With Me if it's gone. I listen all the time. I'd love to check out the ad-free episodes, story-only episodes. They can gift you 3 months, 6 months, 12 months of Sleep With Me Plus at any level for 20% off. So they could buy you a year, or, hey, you could buy yourself a year of Sleep With Me Plus and get 20% off. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/gift. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/gift. Get the gift, give the gift, or just sign up and support the show that puts you to sleep. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks, everybody. All right, hey, everybody, Scoots here, and I was thinking of, it's the holiday season, right, and you got your holiday specials, and I always seem to miss out on the holiday specials, the TV specials from when I was a kid. I think most of the TV specials that were on when I was a kid were ones that were older. And, you know, as we saw with, what was that one, Charlie Brown, I had, like, mixed feelings about The Great Pumpkin. And as I did grow a new level of appreciation watching it 3 times. And I kind of struggled, to be honest, with what I would do about, with holiday specials. Because I said, well, and then there's this is a strange one, as you know who's talking. But without controversy, I believe, the subject matter, without controversy, if you said to me, you can't watch any, this would be easy, this is like no debate, and you'll probably be surprised at the answer. But if you said to me, what's the only, if I could take away every holiday special and you can only watch one, this would be the one it is. And it's not technically a holiday special, though it's associated with the holidays. Or check that. For me, it is. And also, one of the luxuries of making this podcast is really being able, I think I've overused parse out stuff lately, but this really gives me an opportunity to dig my hands into the loamy soil that is my experience as a human being and take a look at it and wonder why. And as I wonder why I have such an affinity for this special, one of the interesting things is that because it isn't a holiday special, I don't think it's tied to very much nostalgia. Because of the actual nostalgia it is attached to, as I rewatched this special multiple times, and I bought it, and we'll talk about that in a second, but is that the only nostalgia I have is for the exact reactions I have as an adult watching it and saying, I remember watching it as a kid and appreciating the same things. So it's not a, I don't know, a lot of times with nostalgia, it's like the memory associated with specials falling into a slot for something else, like whether it's security or pleasure or something not directly associated. I guess in my way, kind of like projection, like when you're projecting something onto the special in association. This special I just like, and as a kid I just liked it. I think love maybe. I agree. I have great affinity for this, and it's and even if the thing is confusing because it has two titles. And I always knew it as Babes in Toyland, but the technical name of this movie or special, it's not a special, it's a movie, March of the Wooden Soldiers, Laurel and Hardy's March of the Wooden Soldiers, Babes in Toyland, is I think the technical special. And so like, there are places to watch this for free. I don't know if it's in the public domain or not. And I did purchase it. Now, unfortunately, like I was going to try to purchase a colorized version just to add another layer of debate, but I purchased the original version, but that's great. I'm glad about that. Because the only reason I was going to buy the colorized version was this extra layer of something or other. And I can't remember the first time I saw this. Now, you know that I'm a great fan, or maybe you don't, of Laurel and Hardy, but I don't like my mind doesn't create memories the way probably people with good memories does. So I can't remember all the Laurel and Hardy I watch. And then the Three Stooges. I'm not a huge Abbott and Costello fan. I can't tell you why. I do appreciate them. But as far as comedy teams go, I'll take a look. Like, I mean, the Three Stooges is, I guess that's a team, but that's more of a threesome. I mean, if I had to take Laurel and Hardy versus Three Stooges, I don't know what I would do. That would be, a dilemma. But if you put it up against comedy duos, for me, unless there's something I'm not thinking of, it's Laurel and Hardy all the way. And I think I had realized in this one, it's because Stannie and I mean, we share a lot. I mean, including. They look a lot like him, I guess, at times, I think. So that's the special we're going to be talking about, and depending on the time, maybe we'll explore some of the thematic stuff, but mostly we'll just be going through a run-through. And I'm going to do it the same way I did the Charlie Brown one for Halloween, which is that I watched it twice, and then I'm going to be doing a pausing and playing it, which is another luxury of buying it and then being able to download it. So there you go. Get a digital, there's a tip of the week. Get a digital. I think I could probably affiliate link to this special too, but, do a download. I don't know who the money would go to though, in this case, other than, but whatever, with Stan. So let me see, just for anybody. So this is really old. This movie predates me. It's a black and white movie. I have no facts in front of me about it, and I'd rather just get into the meat of it, and then maybe we'll talk about the facts later. But it stars people that are in the credits and Laurel and Hardy, I guess they technically, are they the stars? I don't know. You don't want to get too technical, and I don't know if this was if they carried the movie. There are other versions of this movie. There's one with Annette Funicello that I've never seen, I don't think. And then I think in the 80s, there was another one with a lot of famous TV people, maybe some people that are ultra famous now. I don't know. I didn't Google it, but there was another version that I watched, I think even the first time it was broadcast. But for me, I don't know, I really looked at this as neutrally as I could and I'm not saying this is perfect. I mean, if you get into the plot and the story, but I did find for the most part my attention did not wane. It rolls in at a brief hour and 10 minutes or 17 minutes maybe. One thing, I might as well talk about this up front, that I was blown away by and this is out of ignorance, but like, is the sound, like when I know how hard it is to record a podcast, and this is like whatever year, 2016, I don't know a lot about the movie sounds in the black and white days, but how they got to the sound of the dialogue, I don't know. In the singing, it's not a musical, but there is singing and wonderful, wonderful music. And this does have some things in it that will that I wonder. Are they I haven't had time to investigate. That would be the second segment of this podcast if we have time, is to investigate some of the things they may have been insensitive at the time. I don't know, though. I haven't investigated deep enough to say either way. And some of these may prey on some deeper seated, so this is a kid's movie. But I don't know what age. You'd have to judge. There's not really any adult themes, but there is stuff that would stir a kid up or an adult. So I don't know if you'd watch it at bedtime. But the level of comedy in this, especially the physical comedy, and just some of the jokes, and I don't know. This was again. I wish I got to listen to. You must remember this just to see I guess to rehash my knowledge of these period of movie making. But this was one of the spectacle things, because it seems like most of it was filmed on one giant set, a giant soundstage, almost a theme park level soundstage. But let me pause it here, because this is going to be a tough one, because I have two sets of notes. And I'm going to be playing the episode, so I'll be doing my best to keep the paper sounds out, but I'll be right back. Okay, as with all things with this podcast, for some reason I can't locate half of my notes, so I guess this won't be linear, but that should be fine. That'll give us even more stuff. But the music starts with this, which is one of the more famous parts about this, and of course this isn't a music podcast, and music wakes people up, but it's fanfare type music, which is one of the reasons to love this. So the music starts, and there's the MGM lion, and then we get a hint of what we'll see at the end of the movie, which is these toy blocks that say Hal Roach presents Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. And there's two toy soldiers. It kind of looks like a nursery room or a playroom. Two toy, British, the Beefeater style soldiers. And the music's playing. I think I can't listen to the music, obviously, and do this at the same time. But at some point, it goes into this March of the Wooden Soldiers theme. Then we see this book it's a box. It says Victor Herbert's Babes in Toyland. So I'm guessing Babes in Toyland is the music that preceded this. Oh, yeah, because it's composed by Victor Herbert, and the books and lyric are by Glenn McDonough, and the camera pulls in as the credits start, and more credits run. And then pretty soon, it's playing in front of me, but the Babes in the Toyland book will appear. And then we see, I thought it was the old woman that lives in the shoe, but I think it's Mother Goose. I don't think it's Old Mother Hubbard, but I don't know all of my nursery rhyme women. Who's on Cleet's book? Who's on Cleta book? I don't know what that says, so I'll have to keep an eye out on that. Oh, who's on the cover of the book? There are two toy soldiers on the cover of the book, Drew, and she comes out of the book, but a real human, and she's singing, "When you've grown up, my dears, and are as old as I, you'll often ponder on the years that roll so swiftly." A beautiful singing, by the way, beautiful. I don't know the credits, of course. "By my dears that roll so swiftly by." And the camera's pulling in, and she's singing to the camera. "In all the many lands you've journeyed through." This is the closed captioning I'm using, a little behind the magic. "Oft recall the best childhood land your childhood knew." And it's just such lovely singing. Now we get this high tech, we get high effects here, because she opens the book here, and there's a movie screen or a TV within the book. And I mean, this is a long time ago. And this also marks a very important part for me because this song, you want to talk about an earworm. I'm not even going to come close to singing it. But also like a song, if you want to improv it, the song Toyland as the Mother Goose or whatever. And she's also wearing a witch's hat. I don't understand that, but I think it's probably good for the rain. Like a conical hat. But we have this, so the first person we see is a little Bo Peep who lost her sheep. And like I said, this is picture in picture. Before, I mean, I don't know what year this is. And that's how ignorant I am. I don't know if it's 1920, 1940, 1950, 1960. But it's old. And Mother Goose is singing. Or no, she's not Mother Goose. Maybe she is. Then we see Tom Tom, the Piper's son. So we get the love story. Then the little old lady who lived in the shoe, she's the motherhood, the matriarchy influence, and she has all these kids. Then we have the villain, Silas Barnaby, the meanest man in town, and he just walks right up to the camera and stares right into it, and he's very good. Then tertiary characters, Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle. It's a life-size, human-sized cat playing cello, it looks to me. And then an imitation Mickey Mouse, which I have not investigated what it is. Probably because it's just but the mouse we'll talk about a lot. Three little pigs, Elmer, Willie, and Jiggs. And they're dancing. They seem very happy. And then our heroes, Stannie Dumb and Ollie D, like to sleep, as you could see. So this is the perfect setup for the sleep with me because they're in bed together. They both sleep on their backs, and they seem like they share the bed well. And they're doing the old effect where they sleep, and there's a feather going up and down, and they're breathing in, and the feather's going back out. And the second time I was watching it with a 9-year-old, and she was saying, oh, I wonder if that's on a string. I said, oh, thanks for ruining that. But the feather effect is they snore, and then at some point Stannie in this movie swallows the feather, and he starts like giggling in his sleep, which wakes Ollie up, and then the Toyland music is still going. And then what we do is we cut to the town dancing. We see these cities, just a lot of stuff. City gates, you see windmills, you see people fishing. You see school caps. I don't know what that means. Then Mother Hubbard. Then my pen ran out of ink. Mother Goose. Ballad, bio, or something. Little Miss Muffet. Then some garden girl. I don't know what nursery rhyme. It seems like a lot of the characters are from nursery rhymes. Then we had the kid, Peter Pumpkin Eater. I don't know if it was him or it was a kid that had stuck his thumb in a pie. Yeah, but now you can see the set. It's like a setting in the mountains. I think there's a maypole, and is that what that's called when you have the ribbons around the maypole? And there's still singing going on. There's a pond in the little, there's like this strange character. And all the fishing, and all the kids are gathered around, cheering on the fishing. Oh, then the cops say, everybody in school, get on your way to school. The school is like, even everything's themed, even the school. It has a book. There's somebody that lives in there's a balloon man going off to work. He sleeps, he's got a little balloon-shaped house. Oh, there's little Miss Muffet sitting on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Then there's this garden woman. I don't know her. And then the guy sticks his thumb in a pie. I don't know if that's Peter Pumpkin Eater. Then a great rockabye baby on the treetops. I can tell you this for sure. No boughs will be broken in the making of this movie or this episode. It's all good for the baby. Then crumpets. Is there a crumpet character? Someone leaving a windmill with her crumpets. She's got candy cane fence. And then this freaking cat and mouse. Now, the mouse, this was one of the things that boggled my mind as a child was the mouse. Then the three pigs. It looks like the three pigs are going to school, but they live independently. One of the pigs is brushing their teeth. The one that lives in the straw house. Other pigs are saying, come on, let's go. Let's move it here. and they head off to school, and they kind of shuffle. And this is the old days. So, and then two mime clowns are jumping over each other. A milk person, and then now we have the old woman that lives in the shoe, sending the kids off to school. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf at some point? I don't know what that. Maybe that's just a song. Oh yeah, two Jack in the Boxes, two leapfrogging people that we talked about. Too many kids at the old woman of shoe's house. She's Bo Peep mother. She's calling Bo Peep. Your children will be the death of me, she says. And then Bo Peep says, oh, mother. And then she says, hey, don't lose your sleep. And then the villain Barnaby shows up at the front steps of their house. And he's got the villain song. I don't know if it's from Peter. Oh, no, wait, he doesn't show up here. My notes are wrong. She's getting her sheep. Oh, no, there's Barnaby with flowers. And first he says, hey, Miss Peep, how about I date your daughter? Maybe marry her. He says she's charming, little Bo Peep, Miss Bo Peep. And he said, can I pay my respects? And she says, she's tending her sheep. She ain't home. Hit the road, Barnaby. And he's kind of like the crooked man. Like, he takes his hat off. He's got flowers. And this is really, really good dialogue. That's probably say it. So he offers flowers. He says, a fragrant token of my deep devotion. She says, good. She's very polite to him. A fragrant token of my deep devotions. And she says, thank you. She's polite but cold, trying to maintain her boundaries. And she says, well, I got to get to work. I'm dealing with the sheep. And he says, nay. He goes, I've gazed out with wonder on you. And he's kind of being a sleazeball. And he said, in short, I'm asking you to become my wife. She takes a deep breath, and she says, I'm sorry, Mr. Barnaby. I hope you don't take this as ungrateful. And he says, well, I'm rich, by the way. Did you know I'm rich? And she tries to do the old building rapport by touching her arm. And then he says, he goes, I'm going to win my wife. And she goes, I wouldn't marry you if you were honest, which you never were. If you're about to pass away tomorrow, which is too much to hope for, and something else too. And he says, well, you're going to be singing a different tune. And then the sheep bleats, and he goes, bah. And he, almost like bah humbug, and storms off. And Bo Peep looks a little, and then she can't find her. She for Fleecy or Curly. She calls for a sheep. And then Barnaby goes back to the house. And he says, you're late on your mortgage. That's his other means to her mom. And he says, you better get on top of it. I'll be back. I'm manipulating your socioeconomic conditions. Then the siren at the toy factory blows. 2 whistles in the mouth of a big face. And which is really cool. I'd like to steam whistles. We see it's almost 8 o'clock, and Mother Goose, or old woman Shoe, mother, she calls up to the boys for work. And then we see Ollie first. Ollie comes down. He says, good morning, Mother Peep. She says, good morning, Ollie. He's got a lot of patches on his clothes. So we see, okay. And then we hear a crash, and we get our first dose of comedy because Stannie's falling out of a window off screen and has to knock on the front door. And he comes in. We see he's also got patches, and he says, how'd you get down here? He goes, oh, it went out the window, by the way. He says, hey, Mom, what's up? I think it's never established that they're her kids. And then Stan goes back upstairs. This is like this kind of this repetitive thing he's got, which is amazing. This is another reason just to watch the movie, is these peewees. But then also Ollie sees Mother is sad. And she says, well, Barnaby's, trying to foreclose. And he says, well, I got some savings upstairs. Stan, go get my money jar. He goes, I'll pay off the mortgage this month. So I don't know if they're actually her children, or they're they live there. But this is I always thought Ollie was mean-spirited, but he's grouchy, but he's very generous. So he says, I'll pay for it, don't worry. Which may be why, I don't know, I guess I always kind of thought of him as having a little bit more, but I guess that's Shemp, or not Shemp, Mo. But then Stan comes back down, and this is a funny part that I won't reveal, but he brings the money box down. Well, I will reveal it. It says, and it's empty, of course, and he says, I owe you $1.42, I think. Let me see what it says. But there's humor, $1.48. I was close. Stanny Dumb, D-U-M. And he says, yeah, I borrowed it. He says, I know you borrowed it. What'd you borrow it for now that we don't have anywhere to live? He said, well, I need some more Pee-wees, which are these things. I've never seen this toy before. But it's like you hit it with a stick, and it's kind of like a boomerang. It's amazing. Just in some of the way it's used in the movies, worth watching. And on the rewatches, you know, they're probably using some camera tricks, but also you see that Stan is actually hitting these things. Like you hit it and it flies up, and then you hit it again like a baseball. But Stan, then we get some more comedy because Ollie says, hey, I'll borrow the money at work. You know, I'll ask the toy maker. You know, we work at the toy shop. And you get some real good jokes in there. And then that's like the audible jokes are topped off with more physical humor. And then they get out front, and then we get a little comeuppance because he says, what's this Pee-wee business you've been spending all your money on? And man, just watching these two physically, it's really, really great. And so Stan puts it down. And this is really impressive. Like, wow, I don't know how they would have. Oh, maybe it was on a string, maybe. I mean, when it's doing the boomerang, it's clear it's on a string. But good physical comedy. There's also, like, just watching there's stuff going on in the background I just saw. So, whatever that's called, where, there's visceral stuff or whatever. And then Allie says, well, whatever you can do, I can do better. And Stan's like, yeah, good luck. You got to hit this thing on the ground, bounce it up and hit it. It's not going to happen. And then there's so much in here. I can't even reveal the different funny things in just watching. And if you've got a kid, if you have a 9-year-old daughter, there's really a lot of giggles. So it's another level of visceral enjoyment, laughing with your child while watching. And it pretty much stood up. I mean, I think she did pay attention through the whole thing. We took a break in the middle. And Ollie can't do it, which kids like when the know-it-all tries to do something and humiliates themselves. And non-publicly, it's just the two of them. And he gets really mad that he doesn't have the same physical skills as Stan. And then Stan says, well, let me show you how it's done. And then he accidentally knocks Barnaby's hat off. Let's see, Pee-wee business, physical humor galore, knocks off Barnaby's hat. Barnaby comes after them. This is when he goes into the camera. He catches him at the toy factory, breaks the Pee-wee stick. He blames Ollie instead of Stan. He removes half of Ollie's mustache, which was terribly rude. And then they're late for work because they've had so much, they've been trying to help, and then they were playing around. And another funny thing, and this is stuff I do all the time, when you're late and you try to sneak in all smooth, and then they knock like a bunch of stuff onto a drum of all things. So then the boss yells at them, says you're late again. And they work in Santa's toy shop. Probably like Santa's like subletting these because this is a smaller operation, I guess, but this is Toyland. But maybe there's multiple Toylands. In their job, they're painting a bunny. One of them is painting a wooden bunny, and another one is painting a wooden horse head, like for one of those horses you would ride around and pretend, I think. And then they have a little dialogue exchange where Stan's pressuring Ollie to ask for the money. But, the boss is in a bad mood, so Ollie tries to use the old opposite rule on Stan and say, well, he likes you better than me anyway. So Stan, then it backfires. What does this mean? Toymaker has a gate home to shut them up. I don't know what that means. His Toymaker has a gate home to shut them up. But just Ollie goes to ask after Stan entraps him, and then he says, no, get back to work. And then Stan gets so nervous, while Ollie's asking, he's playing with a toy train, which he drops when the toy maker gets mad, which knocks paint off and spills on the toy maker. And then, of course, the toy maker's wicked annoyed. Then we see Bo Peep, who can't find her sheep anywhere. And she's looking, and then she's kind of sad and defeated. Then we see Tom Tom. He's singing. Oh, no, just some singing dude at first comes. And is it Tom Tom? I don't know. In these notes, it's not clear. And they ask Jack and Jill, and then they ask Red Riding Hood. And the more I watched it, the more I appreciated this song and how it really grows. Because Bo Peep's looking for a sheep, and the chorus of the song goes, "Don't cry, Bo Peep, don't cry." And then this community comes together to help her look for the sheep. Slowly, characters come together. They seek low and high. Mother Goose, Miss Moffat, Nevermind, Bo Peep. That's another chorus part. Really, really great music. I guess I got to look and see if I can listen to it online by itself. But when the musicals and the chorus is hitting it together, it's really good. The whole town at some point comes together. Even the mime clowns are participating. And then they have this thing where the soldiers are going, ba, ba, ba. And everyone's calling for the sheep. And they walk to the pond at the center of the town, and the voices are going back and forth. Excellent musical stuff. And then there's a little comedy, because it's this ongoing issue she has with how long it takes her to find her sheep. And then what happens is then, what's his name? Tom Tom. He says, well, geez, you need some help finding your sheep. It'd have to be the most unusual, resourceful, energetic, have a way with any mouth of practices. But it's really cute, actually, because he's trying to kind of seduce her, and she's playing him off nope, not interested. And he's not even a little bit. And it was really fun with my daughter, too, the second time, because they're crossing their arms and looking away. And you know what's going to happen. And they look back. And then they kiss, and then it actually was really, I thought at least it was, I think he says something to her. I'll have to find my second notes or wait till, but then they kind of I think there's an intonation, even though it's public and in the center of the square. He says something somewhat alluring, and she says, yeah, okay, sounds good. And then we see just her toes kind of rubbing together, her toes are curling of the toes. And I don't even know if in the 1930s, I guess a big kiss can curl your toes. Oh, and watching them walk through the town now again, singing. Mother Goose is right with them. But then they pull back the camera, she sighs, and they hug after, like a post-coital thing. And then the sheep are there, and the camera pulls back, and the whole town's there watching them. And everyone's laughing, and she kind of shames the sheep. She says, "She's, what are you doing?" And then Tom Tom says, "Hey, this is the future Miss Piper, by the way. We're going to get married." And then there's this big party because everyone's celebrating. The Three Pigs band's playing. And the cat and the fiddle are playing, and even the cat shakes the mouse's hand. This is at 26 minutes. This is the WTF moment for me. If you only watch anything on this, it's at 26 minutes. Because I still don't know how to make any sense of this, even as a child and as an adult. And I think it's probably unfortunate. I said, geez, did they stuff some sort of primate into a mouse suit? But if you seriously, this is there's a couple of gifable moments or gifable moments in this. And this is one of them. So do yourself a favor, because you can get it on YouTube. 26 minutes into this one, the cat's playing, the mouse is clapping, and then the mouse just starts rolling around laying around and rolling around on the ground. And it just doesn't, it's just mind-boggling. And it's kind of funny and strange. I mean, because they could have cut it out of the movie, obviously. So I still didn't know if it was a special effect or as a trained animal. But it's just awesome. I mean, it's just awesomely strange. Even my daughter, this was the second time she saw it, but it's been a few years. She was like, "Kay, what's happening?" And this is in front of the Toyland Inc. company. And then the mouse does what mouse and cats do, just like Tom and Jerry, throws a brick at the cat. Then Santa comes. Santa, this is when you get your do a little dose of holiday. And Santa's mobbed by the kids, and Santa says, "Well, I got to see the toy maker." Then we see the cat is chasing the mouse on the roof as Santa goes into a toy workshop. Okay, I'm watching the cat and the thing. I still don't know what's happening. I mean, the cat is definitely a human. And the cat's really jamming on the fiddle. But I don't know what is happening with the mouse. And it's like the mouse goes into fugue state in some strange way. Okay, but then we have Santa at the shop, the toy makers, and he says, "I'm here to check on these toy soldiers. I want to see the ones I ordered. Everything on schedule?" "Oh, yeah, no doubt." Ollie and Stan show Santa the wooden soldiers. And then we have the great music, the March of Wooden Soldiers music, as Stan and Ollie Ollie brings out a life-size, toy soldier, 6-7 feet tall. And Santa says, "Geez, I ordered 600 soldiers at 1 foot, not 100 soldiers at 6 foot." And Toymaker's like, "Who took that order?" And Stan's kind of like, "Ooh," which brought up the issue of how does Santa call in orders? Is he calling there and saying, "Oh, I need which would be hard. I mean, you're on the phone with Santa. That's going to be stressful. But yeah, that's, let's see. That's let's see. So they get fined or Anston. Oh, they get fired. Man, my handwriting really went off the rails here. Santa, the soldier even knocks into Santa and Santa falls into a drum and laughs. Then they get fired. A disaster. I think maybe that's this is another fine mess you've gotten me into. He doesn't say that, but he says, this is another disaster or mess. Oh, this is another mess you've gotten us into. He does say that. And the soldier's on the loose, which is foreshadowing alert if you're taking notes. Oh, then Santa laughs and falls in a drum. Oh, no, Santa's laughing the whole time, I guess. As the toy shop's totally destroyed by the soldier. And then the boss, this was a good one. He calls them blithering idiots, which was great. And then Stan goes, "Ollie, aren't you going to ask him for the money?" And he goes, "Oh, boy." And then, then we have Bo Peep at her mom's house. She says, "Good news, Mom. I'm marrying Tom. May nothing happen to mar your happiness," I think she says to them. And then dun dun dun, Barnaby shows up to ruin the day. And the mom's pretty confident though, because he's like, "I'm here for the mortgage money." She goes, "Oh, you guys are just getting off work anyway." So she's expecting Ollie and Stan to save the day, and they roll in, and she goes, "Well, I got the money, haven't we, boys?" And then Ollie made a mistake. He says, Stan says, Ollie made a mistake. He said him and the toy maker are just like that. Ollie tries to pick Barnaby's pocket, but there's a trap in there. He says, "Big bait catches big rat." And he says, Ollie and Stan also say, "We'll get that old buzzard," after Barnaby leaves. And then, Barnaby's listening while they're talking trash about him. So then Barnaby kind of, I guess clunk, that's not a bad word, clunks Stan. And this is Gifable moment number 2, 33 minutes, right around 33 doubles, 33:30. This one I could watch it 1,000 times. This is so good. It is such comedy gold. And I don't know if this was a happy accident, how many times they shot this scene. But this is 33 minutes into this movie, 33:30. So Stan's been hit on the head and Barnaby leaves and Stan wakes up and then Stan says, open, they're talking about they've been defeated by the villain. Stan says, open up that window. And he picks up a rolling pin and then he kind of does the thing he was doing with the Pee-wees with, I don't know what it is. Let me forward it here. But Barnaby's walking away down their thing. Yeah, so he grabs, a spoon, a big spoon, and then a rolling pin, and he whacks it out the window, and it clips Barnaby, but Barnaby falls so perfectly. I mean, you want to talk about, I don't even know what pratfall means, but one of the greatest pratfalls I've ever seen. Just takes this great comedy dive because he totally wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was feeling like a Schadenfreude, for my Schadenfreude or whatever you call it. Schadenfreude city. I mean, I was laughing at it. Then Stan does this famous move where he itches his head with his whole hand, which is always funny. Scratches his head. Then the scene cuts, and then we have this sneaky sound at the warehouse, and Stan is in disguise. And he brings this big present, which has Ollie in it, and he says, take me to Barnaby's house. It's like this big Christmas present. And this was just funny because it was ridiculous. Stan rings the bell at the house, and Barnaby says, who is it? He's got a candle and a stocking cap, and he says, Stan says, me, Stan, I got a Christmas present for you. And Barnaby says, I'll be right down. And he says, yeah, bring it on. He goes, well, this is nice of you. And he says, yeah, we wanted to apologize. But then there's a reveal, which you should just watch for yourself, which gets Stan and Ollie busted. Because, for burglary, they get sentenced to dunking in exile. And Ollie says, good night, Ollie, because that's how when Stan was leaving, the whole idea was that Ollie was going to steal the mortgage. He was hidden inside the box. Once Barnaby went to bed, it said, it's July. Do not open the present till Christmas. So he would sneak out of the box, get the mortgage, and then Barnaby would know until the holidays, how they got them, or maybe, I don't know. But they get busted. There's old King Cole, I think that's who's in charge of this village. What are we waiting for? Says the king with the pipe. And then, so they're going to dunk Stan and Ollie in the lake or the little town pond. And so Ollie goes first. He says, hey, Stan, hold my watch. I don't want anything to happen to this. And then we have a pretty long sequence of Ollie getting dunked and just physical comedy, which is really good with Stan's reactions. It's pretty over the top, but in a good way, especially for kids too. And then Bo Peep's so upset that they would be exiled that she says, do you know what? I'll marry Barnaby if you don't exile my brothers or my, friends. She says, I'll become Miss Silas Barnaby. Also, so the comedy, though, at the end is that, so Stan was holding Ollie's watch, and then as Ollie gets out, they say, well, you don't have to get dunked then, Stan. And Stan says, Ollie, have a drink, and Ollie just goes to have a drink. Also, Stan's eating a loaf of bread the whole time, which is strange. Or more just hilarious, I guess, not strange. But, then, so I guess I'm trying to explain this joke, but Ollie pushes Stan into the lake because, he's mad that Stan's not going to get dunked, and that's when, but Ollie has Stan's watch. Okay, so then, and then Ollie just raises his hands. Then it's wedding day, so it's this wedding day comedy with Stan and Ollie eating, and Stan's kind of talking gibberish. I don't know what that means. And Ollie's going to give Bo Peep away. I don't know if he's the best man or what. And Stan's so upset about it. She says, I'm so upset I'm housebroken, which was funny. And he says, you can't turn blood into a stone. And he says, Mother Goose says, I'm going to go talk to Barnaby. And he goes, well, you can't, it's pouring one ear into another or something. It can't be done. I don't know. You got to watch this movie. She's so good. The mom goes to please to Barnaby, like, please don't marry my daughter. She's got a shot at happiness. And he calls her fool, which is, not very nice. It's wedding time. Ollie shows up at the bride. Tom's watching through a window. They go through the wedding, and it's time to kiss the bride. And then they say, have you forgotten something? And then Barnaby rips up the mortgage, and it's revealed that Stan's the bride. And Ollie laughs, and he says, big bait catches big rat, which was a great, payoff from the other earlier joke. And, Barnaby says, the king will hear about this. What does that mean, Olio? But the whole town, they start to celebrate, and everybody's dancing, and Tom climbs the chute to kiss his lady. And then Ollie still dresses a bride, or Stan still dresses a bride, and Ollie says, goodbye, Stan. And he says, what do you mean goodbye? He goes, well, you married him, so, you're going to have to, it's good knowing you. It's just so funny. He goes, I don't want to stay with him. I don't love him. It's just really funny. And genuine and not in an offensive way, like where you just say, geez, are they going to make some kind of, offensive joke here? They don't. It's honestly like to Stan, he's like, well, I can't marry this man because I don't love him. It's just hilarious. I don't know, like in just a physical comedy. Don't have to worry. What does that say? I think that's Tom because he tells her, he says, we're going to run away to a castle in Spain. He sings a song on the side of a hill by some G city. My daughter said, well, now Barnaby will know where they live. He plays like shoelace guitar, which was cute. Side of the hill by Granada. And Barnaby's mad. He's muttering into a mirror at his house. He says, so they think they can outsmart Barnaby. Oh, there's got to be something. And then he actually, his house worker hits him in the face with a mop, and then yells at the guy. And he says something about pigs. And he says, oh, wait a second, pigs. And he decides to frame Tom for pig napping. And this was part as a kid I didn't really like, but he goes to the pigs, and I don't know if the pigs have short memories because the pigs don't like him, and they try to hide. He can't get into the brick or the wooden house, but he blows away the straw house, and then he plants evidence at Tom's house. But then the pigs forgot because they're just sad and they're crying with a wreath in front of their brother's house, and then we just see a proclamation: Tom guilty of pig napping, and he's going to be King Cole signs that it is King Cole, that he's exiled. And then Stan and Ollie are sitting in front of the police station. They're sad. They're talking. The cat's listening in, and they're talking about stuff that were archetype. Like this is a lot of archetype stuff. Like they're about exile. I don't want to get too deep into it. It's a silly podcast, and the cat's listening in. And then the cat and Stan, or Ollie, kind of play on Stan's fears. And someone even says, Tom, how could you? I think the king says that. And he says, I didn't do nothing. And he goes, well, what about the evidence? I don't know. In some sense, this was predating its time. Like DNA, this is all planted. And then this strange thing happens. The police station, one of the cops goes out and kind of shakes his behind, like shakes his tail feather. Then he leaves the evidence with Stan and Ollie's kind of asleep, and Stan's kind of eating the sausages, which were planted as proof. And Stan's like a sausage, both these two are sausage experts, I guess, because Stan knows, he goes, this isn't pig, it's pork. And, but Ollie tastes it, he goes, yeah, you're right, it's beef. And then he says, I smell a rat. what does this say? Barnaby, lots of quiet jokes. But Bo Peep's begging for Tom Tom's release. Oh, I think just Barnaby's, saying bad stuff about Tom Tom. And then Tom Tom's escorted out. They get on a mossy raft and they go into the swamp, and you see different creatures that live in swamps. Nothing like nice ones like cuddle bears and stuff. And then Barnaby talks trash about Tom Tom. Then Ollie and Stan come with Elmer. They say he was in Barnaby's cellar, and then the city. Everybody tries to mob Barnaby, and then the king says, I'll give you 50,000 Yeti or something to whoever catches him. Bo Peep heads out to the exile to save Tom Tom. Stan and Ollie go after Barnaby, and then Barnaby goes down a well. Secret pass. Oh, he has a secret passage in the well, though, but Stan and Ollie don't know that, so they wait him out at the top of the well. Then Tom Tom and Bo Peep find one another, and they try to find their way out there in these kind of stalactite and stalagmite caves, and they start singing to one another. I think I saw a cypress tree, and then he sings like a lullaby, Go to Sleep, Bo Peep, and she falls asleep, and then this really weird sequence happens that still doesn't make any sense. But these transparent... I didn't know if they were supposed to be like what is that movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves? I don't know what it was, or garden gnomes or something. And then there's a wizard. I don't know if it was the sand man, who throws sand over them, magic dust, and Tom Tom falls asleep. But it just didn't. I don't know. It's what does this all mean? And then the wizard they all run off, and I was like, WTF, double question mark. Then we go to the well, and Stan and Ollie are asleep at the well, and they're like, did he come up? And they're like, no. And then so Ollie says, well, I'll just take him out in the well, put him to the big farm. So he throws a giant thing down the well, and then they go down, and there's no Barnaby. And then we see Barnaby, finds the sleeping Bo Peep and Tom Tom. It says, hey, Bo Peep, come with me. And then kind of him and Tom Tom have it out in a little action sequence. Tom Tom lands this glass jaw move, which was pretty good on Barnaby. Barnaby's got a cane, and then Barnaby falls on a web covered in dust. And then Barnaby's so mad that he starts banging on stalactites with his cane. Or his his wooden stick, and then all these Care Bears come, but they're not. They're like the Care Bears. I remember there was one Care Bear. Maybe it was a Care Bear movie. What are Care Bears? Good question. Caring bears, but these are bears that no longer care. I guess these are the apathetic ones. The bears that used to care. I guess Care Bears were big, when my sister was little. They were bears that cared for you, whether if you needed a smile or whatever, they were there to care for those, because they lived in the forest of feelings. These apathetic bears, they don't care. The bears and they might be careless. There might be some of them that are careless too. But Barnaby raises his club and says, let's not care. Let's be careless and not care, and leads them off. And then Stan and Ollie go through the passage into the caves in pursuit of Barnaby. And then you get kind of a classic chase sequence where you're running around corners, and people are crossing paths, and there's all these different passages, and everyone meets up. Stan and Ollie run into Tom Tom and little Bo Peep, and then they hide, and then they sneak back through the well, and then they've escaped, and then everyone's in their pajamas when they get there, the whole town. Oh, maybe it looks like children. I'm looking at the gnome sequence now. And but the wizard was flying. But the wizard does have a stocking cap on. So I guess it's like me. It doesn't make sense why the sequence is there even now. But everyone's in the PJs, and they're so happy that they're returned. Lots of nightgowns. Everyone's in a nightgown. But Barnaby and the bears that no longer care, Barnaby grabs this torch, and they all have their torches, and they say, we're going to go to the city, and we're going to be careless in this city of caring, you know. We're going to counter the care with care. We don't care, and we're careless. So we'll see how you all fare, you know, without our care, or something like that. I can't, you know. But before they get there, Ollie's bragging, like, oh boy, did we do these Care Bears in. We showed them how to care. They were careless. We tied their shoes. They didn't care. We taught them about the issues, you know. They were apathetic, and we appealed beyond thought and to their feelings, you know, to the stuff inside. And he goes, we're heroes, kind of. And then they arrive, and Stan and Ollie run as everyone tries to run and hide. And this is kind of the pinnacle of the movie, because all the careless bears, they come with Barnaby. They're up to no good. Stan and Ollie run into the toy shop, and the careless and the bears that don't care, they don't care. But he gives you a lot of good physical comedy. Stan and Ollie grab some darts, and Stan does the thing with the darts with a stick. And he's doing so many, you can see it's kind of a camera trick, but he's still hitting the darts. And then the mouse steals a Zeppelin with like these like extra strength torpedoes, and then they start just taking. They just start injecting caring into they start tying shoes, I guess, for the careless Care Bears, or the bears that formerly cared or whatever. And there's a lot of special effects, like the mouse flying the Zeppelin is a cool special effect. And the mouse saves the cat who's stuck on a windmill. And Stan is like total money with this, hitting the darts of caring. That's an injection of, I don't know if it was whichever the empathy hormone is. And this is, I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of visuals in the sequence. Mouse, at some point, Stan accidentally pops the Zeppelin, and the mouse has a parachute. Mother Goose's shoe, or whoever, the old woman's shoe, is under siege. We see some pig teamwork. And then Stan gets the idea for the wooden soldiers. He says, we've got all these wooden soldiers back here. And then we get to one sequence that doesn't quite fit, but it makes sense. They have this stop motion sequence with all the kind of special effects and a split screen, which is kind of advanced. Like there's stop motion going by live action, and the wooden soldiers come to town, and they say, if you can't care, and I guess this isn't about right or wrong. This is just this movie. They say, we'll escort you out of town. I think it was more about the carelessness, though, than the not caring, I think, because they said, well, yeah, because there's kids here. Your carelessness is, danger to the kids. So they say they escort all the careless bears out of town. Also, I'm looking now at the mouse, and even the mouse has pajamas, which is funny. And the great music is playing. And then they chase everybody out of town. And then there's one last comedy scene because they have a cannon full of darts of the empathy. What did I say that was? A hormone? And they say, let's give him one parting shot. And actually, the parting shot ends up Stan's in charge of it. So it, of course, gets Ollie. And Ollie has so much empathy now that he can't even be grouchy at Stan, which was, wonderful. And then it says, and they lived happily ever after. And I think that's the end. And I guess the movie clocks in, it looks like at around 118. And I've been talking for like an hour. It looks like, but yeah, I'm just going to watch the end. There's, it's just like a lot of everyone's laughing. And it says, yeah, and they lived happily ever after the end. It shows Mother Goose flying on a goose over something. And then it says the date. Let me see. I just rewind, 1991. That was when this version came out. Oh, that was the color version, which this was not the color version. But anyway, and that's March of Wooden Soldiers, Laurel and Hardy's, and March of Wooden Soldiers. Good night. Here, boys, this is Scoots. We're having a sale on gift subscriptions to Sleep With Me. So if you want to have someone give you the gift to Sleep With Me, they could save 20% off whichever package they buy. 20% off if they go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/gift. So say, yeah, give me the gift to Sleep With Me, or I'm going to give it to myself. It's changed my life, and I'd love to check out the ad-free episodes, the story-only episodes. I'd love to be a Boar friend or a Boar bestie, get those all-night and all-intro episodes. Tell them, or go there yourself, sleepwithmepodcast.com/gift, and get a great discount if this show's changed your life. What could be a better gift than it being around for you next year and having access to all that sweet, sweet bonus content? Thanks and good night.